Welcome back to a very basic space program. You find us flying up in the air, and we're speeding this bit up just because it's one of those missions that I don't think we need to go through fully. But in this episode, we're actually going to put together some more rockets. We're going to try to put together the start of our 3,000 kilometer downrange rocket. But right now, what I'm actually doing is flying the Coniston 2 up to try and get some of the Mach 2 science and just see if we can actually get it. So what I actually did was we launched up and we aimed to get just over the 10 kilometer mark, which was what we required, accelerate the plane to I think it was a 600 meters per second, and then we just back off the throttle a little bit, so we would in effect shut down some of the engines in real life and hold it around that 600 mark, with the aim being of just holding this craft at that speed and that altitude for as long as possible. In reality that wasn't perfect, shall we say. We didn't get much in the way of time at that speed and that altitude. It might have been better to actually go up higher and then glide down and see what happened with that. So maybe we'll do another flight later on in the episode and see how that goes. But for now, we're just going to let that plane come in and land nice and close to the Space Center while we go and get on with the rest of it. So let's get going. Right, so we are in the mission control and we're just having a look at this downrange 3,000 kilometer contract. It will advance us 25,000. We're not going to do it right now. We've actually got other contracts to get on with, but we want to start preparing for this. So it'll advance us this 25,000, which goes a long way to the engine that I want. And all we need to do is have a craft that takes off and in the first 50 seconds of flight has control, and then after that goes over 140 kilometers high and goes downrange by over 3,000 kilometers. So how are we going to do that, and how are we going to do it cheaply? Let's go and have a look at what we can build. Right, before we actually start doing anything, what I want to do is we're going to be using sort of some of the components from our original Javelin 1, or not our original, but our Javelin 1C. But I don't want this top section, and I want to change the top. So I don't want to do anything. I want to actually use this as a sub-assembly. So to do that, I need to make the bit I want easy to turn into a sub-assembly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reroute this part using this button here, reroute, and I'm going to click on my top section there, like so. And then I'm going to come over here to my sub-assemblies, and I will take the bottom bit there, we'll drop it into there. Right, so here we have the Atlatl 1-1. This was our second sounding rocket. It was the Atlatl 1-0, but without the parachute, and we added on this solid rocket booster. Now the first thing I need to do is these fins need sorted out because we've updated B9 wings, and of course that means that these ones actually have the ability to recolor them, so I need to recolor them. We're just going to do that quickly, match our color scheme. Let's get these things out of the way. Don't need Delta V there right now. So I'm going to go, let's have a look. We want Centaur white there, we'll go black there, trailing edge is going to be white, and leading edge is going to be black. There we go, that looks nice, doesn't it? Yes, right. Why am I doing that? Well, because we're going to keep that bit. So let's see, we're going to take this first of all, we're going to lift it up by hitting on the center bit there. I can move it, or I can press down on the shift and click anywhere, and it will allow me to move it. So we're going to move this up. First of all, I'm going to move it quite a way up. And then at the bottom here, I'm going, right, I don't want this rocket, this solid rocket. We're going to get rid of in fact, we'll leave the decoupler there just in case. We'll leave the decoupler there for now. Then we're going to take our Javelin. We're going to put that here. So this is the start of what we're going to be working on. We're going to work with these two bits, and I don't want to really create too much extra new parts with this. So we're going to have to attach the two together at some point, but before we do that, let's look at this top section again. So this engine here is our original Aerobee engine. However, we can actually upgrade it. We have got the technology. We have the AJ1027 now. It burns for 52 seconds, so it burns a bit longer, but we get an awful lot more thrust. We actually get, 3 times as much thrust. So that's going to be useful for us. We're going to do that. Obviously, the fuel is not correct, so we're going to redo the fuel on that by removing the tanks, put the new fuel in, and we can see we've got a nice bit of stuff there. Now, that only goes to 20 seconds. I want more than 20 seconds, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the engine off. I'm going to duplicate this by hitting Alt and click on this tank, and it gives me another one of these tanks. There we go. I'm going to take the fins off the middle of there because I don't want them. So I'm not having to retool that at all. We have no retooling at all in that process. And we've gained a little bit more delta V, 41. We got up to 41. Now, that's not bad. We might need to put an extra tank in there. We'll have to look at that. But we're getting less and less sort of bang for our buck now. So we will see. So next step, we could just stick this on here. And that's what we get. We'd have that. We need to partition these out. Let's do this straight away. We can have a little idea of what's going on. So this would go there, this would go there. There we go. We could actually put our launch clamps there as well. Wonderful. So that would give us 5.8 kilometers per second. It's nice, but it's not what I want. I want more than that. I want over 6,000. I want this number here to be over 6,000. So we want to keep going. Well, first of all, before we do anything, once this goes up, this has not got stability, so I need to give it some stability. It's very long and thin, which is very nice when you've got air, but there's not going to be as much air high up. So we need something to give it stability. What can we do that with? Well, we can have a look and see we've got these little spin motors. We've got these unlocked. We can use these. So what we will do is we will put them on, we're going to have 4 of them, and we're going to stick them on like so. And I'm going to put them on at a little bit of an angle. So we're going to rotate them to an angle, just 1 notch over, I think. There we go, like that. And then we're going to move them in towards the body of the craft a little bit. So I'm going to put this onto, let's have a look. Let's put it on local. We're going to put it on just easy one, normal, so I don't have it fixed in. And do that, pull it down, and then I'm actually going to pull it. Put it onto absolute and move it downwards as well, because I want this to be around the engine ideally. Right, so how does that look? That looks better, but I actually want to push them further in. I'd like them to sit in the gap that is in between the engine and the body there. It's a little cheaty, but we're going to do it anyway, just like that, and then that gives us a little thrust out. I'm going to pull it out a little bit because I feel bad about doing it quite so much. There we go. So these are now attached like so. And they should give us a little bit of spin. And you'll be thinking, well, the fins will stop that spin. Hopefully, the fins will give us a bit of stability lower down in the atmosphere, and the spin will give us stability once we get out of the thin atmosphere. So that's what we're looking at there. Right, next, the rest of the craft. Well, this is not going to work. This flat end is not going to work. So we need to put something in here. So let's take this off and see what we've got. We want to put some sort of fairing or payload in here. Here we are. So what can we do? We could do one of these little pointy ones, the hollow trusses. We could do something like that. We could do an interstage. I think we're going to do an interstage actually. If we do, let's have a look. We got one of these boat tail truss. Which of these is interstage? Procedural truss, payload, boat tail. Interstage, that's nice. Interstage, go ribbed interstage, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? So if you actually look, the most recent versions of procedural fairings has this thing which will actually show you which ones decouple and which ones couple. We were actually going to use the top one because it means we can get a free decoupler out of it. So we'll do that, like so. And then we're going to shrink it down because we want the body to be the same as this. So let's just pop this on the bottom there. So we know that this has a diameter of 175. We're going to pull this down to 175, like so. Get that right. Here we go, to the right number. And then we want this top bit to be, let's see, 300. So we want the top diameter to be 300. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 6, all the way down to 300. And the height we actually want to bring as low as possible. We want this to be nice and close. There we go. Height's about there. And then we want to actually do something called extra height. So you see these lines, and if I'll put a fairing on so you can see. I believe these are going to change anytime soon. Payload fairing, recolor. We want the recolor one. There we go. Ooh, there we go. Right. If I actually pull that off, and we'll just do 1. So I'll hit X until we get to 1 so you can see how it's going to attach. That's what it's going to look like. I'm not really a big fan of that. I would rather it be sort of straight. But let's see, can we make it straightish? One thing I did not notice was, and I'll just change this back to the plain recolor one, This has changed, but I didn't notice it's got this shape preset on the top, which is really nice. So you can preset your shapes now. So if we put all of them on, and then we just slide into the middle there. There we go. Nope, that's not it. I want I want this one. You can actually change it from like Delta to Thor to Long March to Proton, all these different shapes. We're going to go with my favorite, which is I think Delta. I like Delta, it looks cool. So go back to our 1. There we go. And we can see that's going to fit nicely. These are going to come off. We could probably squeeze this down a little bit more on the height side. There we go. And that looks good to me. So we just need to get a bit more thrust, a bit more delta V out of all of this, because we're currently, I'll put this down here or up here. I normally put it up here. We're currently on for 5,600. Okay, if we put that on properly, it gives a bit of an extra thing. So we don't want these fairings going. Then we'll move those up here. So we're going to have our main engine go. We're then going to have decouple, and then we are going to fly up. And then we're going to fire these engines and this, and I probably want these to fire off first. So we're going to put these down here. So these and this are going to fire off first. We could actually fire these fairings out just before that. So we'll get rid of the fairings, then decouple and fire those, and then we'll fire the aerobee, and we should be okay with that. That should be okay. It's not the nicest of shapes, but that's a potential. So that potentially could get us close, but I don't think it'll do it. I think we'd either need another aerobee stage on the top, or we need to do something else. And we're going to try something else. So we're going to take this, hit the Alt key, put it over there. We now have an extra copy of this because we may need it in a moment. So we're going to take this A4 engine off. Don't want it. We're hoping to get hold of, if we go into here by the names, we want the NA, there we are, NA A75 or 110 A series. This is going to be the A6 engine in effect. If we hold Alt, is it Alt? Yeah, is it going to find it? There we go. If we hold Alt, and I can actually just pull these off so you can see. You can actually, by holding Alt, it will force it to stick to the nearest node, or you can take those side bits off. Now, I could retool these boat tails because this engine is slightly different in size. I'm not going to. I think we're going to be okay. We're going to leave that there. We've got a little bit of material sticking out up here, but I don't think that's a major problem. In fact, it might actually give us a bit of added stability. So we've got no fuel in this though, have we? We've got some fuel in, but not enough. Right. Or it's the wrong fuel. So first of all, we need to remove all the tanks, and we're going to put those tanks back in. There we go. Right. So now we can see that we have got closer to what we want. Interestingly, you'll notice we have aluminium. We have separate aluminium tanks. We could go to aluminium. Where is it? Aluminium 2, which would give us more payload. But I'd need to tool the tank, and I don't really want to do that. So we're going to go with the separate aluminium, which is tooled, because we're doing this cheap. We want to do this as cheap as possibly, and I don't really want to tool new tanks of this size at the moment. So we're still a little short. Let me just do that, fill it up with fuel again because I've changed it. So we're still a little short even with that new engine. Well, you'll notice that engine gives us a lot of thrust, and it's 54 seconds. What is the burn time on that engine though, is the question. So we look over here, we go to engine, and we can see that we have 145 seconds to play with. Right, we can double that. We could actually double what we've got there. Well, hold on a second, we have tanks. Let's do that. So we'll take this one off because we know that fits okay. Put this one on that we got from before. Get rid of all this stuff. Get rid of the fins, we don't need those. Put this on there. There we go. Now we need to take out all of this, remove all the tanks, put some new fuel in. There we go. This tells me we're 21 tons, which is fine. It's brilliant. It's 21 tons, superb. We've got a pad that holds 60. However, we've definitely got enough fuel there. This is set for 20, and I don't want to tool a new avionics core. So we're going to lighten this a bit. We're going to have to lighten this craft down. So we're going to look at this tank. Which one? We're going to start with this one. We'll start with this one. First of all, ideally, I'm going to drain from the bottom tank first. So we're going to drop this priority down a little bit. There we go, just 1 point. And then the bottom tank, I'm going to take a little bit out of until we drop below the 20-ton mark, because I want us to be under control. There we go. So we're using 70% of that. Now, let's check the tooling. So it's going to ask us to tool these. That is it. That is all we're being asked to tool. We've already tooled a fairing holder for some of our payloads that we took up, the camera and their sample return stuff. We've already tooled a fairing for that. So all we're tooling now is these. We've tooled the stage. All we're tooling now is this stuff on the side, which is going to add to. And so that's not so bad. So that's going to take us. Let's have a look. What's our build time? Let's open up our build time so we can actually have a look at it. Move this down here. So currently it's 146 days. If we actually do that tooling, it drops to 130, and the tooling's going to cost us 900. Okay, so I think we'll go. If we close that, I think we'll go for this. However, one thing we do have to remember is we do not have this bottom engine yet. This engine in here we do not have. It is not something that is available to us because we're still researching it. And if we actually have a look in our tech, we're not going to get it for 100 days. So in our build queue at the moment, we have this finishing in 79 days. We could start another craft. We could actually just put this Coniston in a few times and it'll probably drop that down. But just in case, just because we can, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set this off building without the engine. We're going to take the engine out, put it to one side, don't want it, and we're going to start building it as it is. We know this craft is ready. Of course, it needs a name, doesn't it? We need to name it, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to call it like the original American type version of this. That was basically this sort of original American derived engine. It was actually the A4, and they stuck a whack corporal on top. They called bumper whack. We're not going to call it that. We're going to call it Atlanta Jav 1. In fact, that should be a J. Atlanta Jav 1. Yes, there we go. Atlanta Jav 1. Save that. So let's check what we're doing. We want ourselves a standy thing there to put that on, and we're going to take the whole thing and we're going to drop it down here. Here we go. There we are. So let's have a look. Do we want to see, is this going to have enough electricity? It probably should. I don't think I need electricity on completing this, but we will see. Oh, we can actually drop it down to a lighter core. That might actually help. Let's see. Does that might add value and cost? So let's do that actually. That gives me an extra 100 meters per second. That's quite staggering. Which I could then add a little bit more electricity. There we go. That's it. That's apply that. And we don't need any extra space. We don't need extra, so apply that. There we go. Do I need to tool that now is the question I've just realized. Where's my little thing? Do I need to tool you? Where are we on here? Down the bottom. Tool. How much is that going to cost me? 104. Right, we'll do that. We'll definitely do that. So we can do that at the same time. That's not a massive cost for us to actually save all of this. Right. So when we put the new engine on, it's going to go underneath this. Then we will have that fire. We will then remove those fairings just before we launch this out, and then we'll fire that engine once it's got a bit of thrust going on it. Right, I think we are pretty much ready. One thing I'm going to check though. When we built this thing, we actually put a service module in, didn't we? Yeah, and that's a mistake, because I'm pretty sure the service module will burn up, because this bottom stage is going to have a lot of thrust. It's going to have a lot of heat going through that top bit. So we're going to swap it out for a cone. That's going to be annoying. So this is 1 meter and it's peak 2, and we can just basically transfer over in our minds what's going on here. So we're going to go peak 2, we're going to go 1 meter, and we're going to go down to 30, and there we go. Take that off, put that on, sorted, done. There we go. Now I should probably color that. Let's do this, and let's color it, I don't know, blue is good. We've been following it with the sort of red color, haven't we? Let's go red. There we go. All right, so that will also potentially help a little bit. I think it's actually given us a little bit more because it's technically lighter. So we're going to tool this, we're going to start its build, we're going to save it because it's done, get rid of that build list, like so. We're going to save it, done that. Tooling, let's first of all check the avionics. It has sufficient avionics. When that engine goes on, it should still be okay. Even if it isn't, we'll gain it just after launch. One thing we have forgotten terribly that we must not get wrong. Oh, look at this. We need to change this, don't we? Can't have that number on there. So we're going to set a text, and we're going to say this is going to be J. Ooh, well, let's see. Have we got 9? We've got 9 in at the moment. 9 at the moment, so this is going to be 10. Oh, that's good. That's a nice start to that thing. There we go. There we go. 10 or joy or. Oh dear, that doesn't look brilliant, does it? Anyway, right. Save that. Tool it, which is what we've been waiting to do. Tool all. It's going to cost a bit of money. Purchase that. There we go. Sorted. And I think we are ready to start the building. So let's set that off to build. We're going to buy those 4 parts, which are the spin motors. They cost almost nothing. The fairing ribbed adapter, no. The 4 fairing on the outside, and the nose cone, absolutely nothing wrong. 2 funds, buy that, do great. Right, let's get on with something else while this is building. We have a rocket to fire, our final normal Javelin 1C. I think it might be the final one. Anyway, we'll have a look. So we're going to do a downrange distance, I think. So what have we got? We've got this one, which requires 350. We're going to get a good chunk of cash for these. The difficult one does not give us enough for it to be really valid with, because it requires a much bigger distance. So we're going to try and do this one. And this is going to be, let's see, 111. So we need 335. So we're going to accept that. We're also, while we're at it, because, you know, I'm forcing myself to do this, we're going to accept this one as well. Get it done. So we're going to accept that as well. That gives us more funds. And we've got our 2 missions. When we finish this sounding rocket one, we can then start taking our X-planes, because we've now hit those ones again, and we can do that before we launch our next craft. So we need to modify this to fit the new payload. Right, so we have brought our craft inside to edit. We need to first of all change this. This is wrong. What's going on? It's got the wrong number on it. It's number 9, not number 8. Number 8's already flown. Somebody's used the wrong decal. Obviously, it's crazy. The staff can't get them properly. So we need to change this. We're going to go to the tank EUI. We're going to go to here. We need, I think it's 335. We're going to update that. Click off. Let's just check that it is 335. All the way at the bottom. 335, that's good. Everything else checks out. So then we're going to save this craft, and then we're going to click Save Edits. This is going to take no time at all. So there we go, and we should be ready to roll it out to the launch pad. Alright, so we've rolled the craft out to the launch pad. We're ready to go. You will notice we started some building work on the Atlanta-Jav, and our engine tech is moving along. So in 26 days that's going to be sorted. We do have money. We could buy an extra token and still have money for our engine. However, if this mission goes wrong, we will lose a big chunk of cash. So I am aware of that. We don't want to end up being short and then having to go back and fix things. So we're going to go for this launch, and then if this succeeds, we'll put some more cash in where we need to. So let's go launch this thing. So here we are on the launch pad as the sun is coming up over the cape. Let's just check that we've got everything we need. So we'll minimize all these other contracts that we could possibly have. So we have got the correct sounding payload in this craft. So we're going for 170 kilometers downrange. We've got to go over 140 kilometers. The control is not going to be an issue. We're going to use Smart ASS to start with, because it's going to help us control this. All right, we are ready. We are steady. Let's go. Start the engines. Wait for them to spool up. There we go. Release. Off we go. And we're going to start pitching almost immediately. We want to just start getting over, because at 100 kilometers, I want to be at 85. There we go. 100 kilometers per second. We're at 85. I'm just going to keep that going. just ever so gently. We want to get to 140, and I want to get downrange 170, and we can keep an eye on this here. We can also see how do we do on this one. So there we go, moving along nicely. We've got what, 40 seconds left in the flight. We've got to make sure we get that altitude. We've got to make sure we get that downrange. So you know, anywhere near a 45 degree angle would be lovely for us. I think we've got more than enough to do this. It's just a matter of how far downrange we actually end up getting. The engine's a bit throbby there. We've got a lot of aero effects going on the body of the craft there. We're buzzing a little bit of yellow. I wonder if there's something updated that's causing it to be a little glitchy. I don't know. Maybe it's the aero factor. It might be it. Right, we're still going. We're going to hold it at 60, I think, just for a while until we catch up. We'll go through max Q. We should be on the other side of max Q now, so we can start turning again. We've got to keep our mind on this because we have to get that altitude, and we're not actually quite there yet. So we're going to let it go up a little bit at 50. We've got 7 kilometers downrange now. That's nice. We could start turning, I think. Once I get to 100, I will feel a little bit more confident about this. We're starting again. Yeah, this is going to be tight actually on our altitude. 56, okay. I think we should do it because we should get a big burst of power towards the end there. It's 5 seconds. 4 seconds. We can start turning a bit more. There we go. We're going to be, yeah, we're well over it. So engine cut off now. There we go. And we're going. Now we're going to slow down a bit because we're not going to fit perfectly. We've got no thrust. Right. We have managed to get the control for the first 50 seconds. We had that. We have got to get to this altitude of 140, which we're going to do. Now it's just a case of getting to the 170. So let's just speed this up just a smidgen because we don't need to just float. Right, here we go. Where are we? Oh, it's moved around again. I hate it when it jumps. Right. So we're at 8. Oh, yeah, we're going to do this easily because when we start coming back down... Oh, no, actually, 85 would be... Yeah, we're going to be well over it. It would be actually interesting to see what our downrange is. So let's get MechJeb up and see what we've actually got downrange with this. Let's have a look. We want flight recorder. There we are. So flight recorder says... We'll just check the max Q. Yeah, that's okay. So flight recorder says 150 already. Okay. We've not even reached our peak. We have done the mission. So what distance we're going to get before we get to peak? Where's true altitude? Here we are. And all right, we've reached our peak. We're coming down. So about 200. Okay, so we could have got potentially sort of 400 downrange. So we could potentially have done the harder one. Right. Let's grab this. Get this right. And we're gonna range safety it. There is no telemetry available, I don't believe. No, there is no telemetry available. So let's range safety this. Where is it? There's the range safety. Hit that. Yes, thank you. Mission complete. Right, let's go back and get this engine added onto our new rocket. I think we're gonna speed through to that. Right, with that mission complete, we have 87,000 in the bank. We have a Coniston flight that we could do, and we've got this tech about to go. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put this engine on at the start of next episode and go for that mission. And before that, we're going to send the Coniston up to finish off this episode. We're going to do a nice quick one. So what can we do with the Coniston? It's aiming to get to a launch crew vessel to 40 kilometers. Is that all? After you're reaching 50 kilometers, the suborbital contract. Oh, right, okay. Right, I think we're just going to do that because the difficult doesn't give us anything majorly more. So it's going to give us 20,000. So we're going to go for this one. It's had a nice time to bump up. We'll go for that. Right, let's get it done. Let's launch that thing. Right, we are going up as fast as we can. We just need to check that we've got the right mission going. Right, so we need to get 40, and we've got that 40 kilometer crude altitude record. So that's what we're aiming for. And we just need to be basically trying to get up there as quickly as possible. Have we got fly-by-wire? We turned it off there. That's a bad idea. So we'll just do that. Hold it. Thank you. We want to just try and get up there as quickly as possible, I believe. So what I'm going to do is make this a speed run. We're going to turn it up There we go. Speedy, speedy, speedy. We're going twice as fast. We've got red kicking in there, so it's not actually going as fast as it could. So we're going to see how fast this thing can get up there. We're aiming for 40. I think it should be able to get 40, I believe. These engines are, you know, okay. If we lighten down the sort of fuselage and everything, we could probably actually get a lot better with this craft. It's a nice workhorse craft, but it's not perfected to what it does. Potentially bigger wings would actually help for some of these flights, so that we actually don't have to go as fast to sort of push ourselves upwards. Alright, so there we go. We're starting to gain up nicely. We've got about a minute and a half left on these burns, and we should be going okay for this, I think. Let's get the speed time up a bit more. There we go. 20, 21, 22. Can we actually give ourselves a bit more of a push up? There we go. A bit more upwards direction. Right. We're going to drop it down just to normal speed now. We've got the coastline coming in. Have we got this experiment started? No, it hasn't for some reason. We might as well start it and get something from it. And this says that we're now over 40 now, is our predicted, so we can start to just level it down a bit. There we go. Hold it on there. In fact, we can go a little bit lower. A little bit lower. There we go. Okay, and we're out. So now we're just on the glide slope, and we're going to hope that we're going to hit 40. We should be okay. Yeah, we're going to be easily over 40. So there we go. We've done 40. We've done 40 there. We've got some contracts. Let's actually let's see what our contract. We've got vessel completions going on. Right, what's the contract? We have completed that. That gives us the intermediate is done. That's the damage one. Right, so the 40 kilometers. So we get an extra 8,000, which is nice actually. That takes us well over our expected. Now, in the earlier flight, we were actually trying to do this science. We actually, oh, that's interesting. It says we can't do it. Why can't we do it? We're actually going faster than we're supposed to. What's going on with that? Are we too high? That is interesting. We've got a crew report going on, and this is 2 science. Oh, that's interesting. So I wonder if you have to be below a certain altitude to do that. We'll keep an eye on that. In fact, we'll stick that there and see. Do you have to be below 40,000? I didn't notice this before, so maybe that is actually not as bad a thing for us when we want to get this craft down. Let's keep an eye. Does it allow us 40? Yes. So you have to be below 40,000 meters. So you have to be below 40 kilometers for this to run. That is interesting. Now, so you basically, if we just hold this craft about here, and we keep our surface velocity high, and no, I want to hold up a bit. There we go. Come in like there. That's it. Yeah, give me something at least. So we're actually going to be running this for a while. So let us just let this run for a bit. We'll speed you up. That is really interesting. So we've come well inland. We're going past all this. We're going to overshoot, I think, our targets quite considerably. But that's okay. Well, as long as we don't hit the city there, then we're fine. That's a good one. So we're working some of this away. So as long as we remember to turn it on, like we forgot this time, which is actually unbelievable, isn't it? We'll be okay. So let's put our nose level, get a bit of maintain that speed. Now, can we maintain speed at supersonic flight? I'm guessing we can't. I'm guessing we can't maintain it through a dive without engines at Mach 2. I'm not sure that's going to happen. We could probably just do a Mach 2 dive like so, and that's probably not going to help us either, is it? We're just trying to eke out as much as possible from this. And you know what, this doesn't actually matter because we're going to go past the oh, wings. Oh dear. Oh, he's lost consciousness. Oh no. Oh dear. That's a note to self. Yeah, we had it on speedy up, and we've pulled up too fast, and the wings have just gone on the Coniston. The Coniston is Coniston 2 is not looking healthy. I think we need to. Oh, right on top of the city. Oh no, that's a disaster. Right, can we decouple this? He's awake now, is he? Yeah. Right, can we just fire parachutes? Fire the parachute. Fire the parachute. Arm the parachute. Is the parachute is armed. Right, we've got everything we need to. Ooh. My dear, we're coming right down in the middle of the city there. That's brilliant. It's well done. Oh, Fred, that was... I did not expect that to happen. So note to self, when using fly-by-wire and autopilot, if you've got it sped up and you pull up too hard, yeah, that's going to happen. The stresses will kill you. That's interesting. Right, so Coniston 2 is gonna, well, it's gonna need a rebuild. I think we might move on to Coniston 3 with this, or we might just, well, I think we'll probably just duplicate this craft and go again with a rebuild. But we're gonna have to wait because, of course, we've got our rocket building. All the damage, all the horribleness. Right, we lost speed awfully quickly there. This thing's just gonna come down and splash down. So that is how you don't. All the explosions, there we go, parachutes out. Where we're going to land, and if anybody knows the area, that'll be, if anybody's house is there, that would be where we're going down. I think that's it. Yeah, right, parachute is open and we're slowing down. I don't actually know how much this parachute's going to slow us. Yeah, we go, that's perfect. Well, it looks as though the escape mechanism has worked. I'm sure we could have bailed you out, but one thing I do remember with RP-1 is that the parachutes on the Kerbals and things like that, not often the best way of doing things. EVA and things have always been a bit dodgy, shall we say. I think they have been improved, and I should really test that, but this was designed with the escape system for a reason, and we have just proven whether it works, so that's good. So yeah, we're going to just put it down in this back garden here. Whoever this is, if this is your house, I apologise profusely. This road here, we just walk out, and there'll be some trucks to collect us. I'm more worried about where the rest of the craft landed, because that could have been a horrible disaster. I'm sure it didn't. I'm sure it went into a field or something. Having grown up in the age of Lockerbie, I'm sure that nothing like that happened at all. We're fine. We're safe. We should maybe do these flights parallel to the coast in future and turn into the coast. Yeah, I think we need to think about that in future, because this is not healthy for us to do this. So we're going to put Fred Collins down. He's had an exciting flight. He did pass out, but he survived. And here we go, coming down just to land. Wow, here we go, all the way down. Are you going to fall over? Thank you, because that was just weird. Oh, it's more explosions. So many explosions. Stuff just raining down. Right, let's recover that vessel to the spaceplane hangar. Yeah, we'll just take the cockpit. That'll be fine. All right. So, from me, until next time, have a great one.